We all have unique backgrounds. This could be our nationality, our line of work, or circumstances that have defined who we are. I'm sure that many of you have incredibly unique stories, and my story starts in Sweden. I was born in Eskilstuna, a city near where my family lived. My father is American and my mother is Danish. They met in Sweden while my father played basketball. My first 5 years were spent there, and I moved to Kentucky in 1991. My name is Daniel Connor, and I'm 23 years old. In my short time, I've been fortunate to have been able to do many things. I grew up in Kentucky. It is where I call home, but it is not a place that I plan to stay in. I enlisted in the Marine Corps Infantry when I was 17, and I graduated from high school in 2004. In 2005, after a little over a year of active service, I was honorably discharged for a sleep disorder known as somnambulism. This was a trying time for me, and I was unsure of what to do. I moved back to Kentucky, and my family moved to Florida. Later that year, I moved to Prague in the Czech Republic to teach English as a foreign language. While in Prague, I decided to do some work in sub-Saharan Africa with a colleague. I returned home in February of 2006 after about 2 months in Prague and worked for 3 months doing metal fabrication. Then got on a flight to London and eventually on to Johannesburg, South Africa. I traveled north to Zambia and worked with the indigenous there for 3 months. I learned many things in Africa and saw aspects of life that have had lasting effects on me. I returned to the States and moved to Florida in October of 2006. At this time, I was 20 and thought it was a good idea to begin school. I worked with a family business for a year and a half and took some trips to Europe and Central America as well. I also made progress towards my degree at Edison. While the housing market began to decline, and being that our business was dependent upon this market, in 2008 I decided to leave the country while I still had money and reestablish myself once I returned. I left in May of 2008, flying to Lisbon and then on to Johannesburg. I was in Joburg during the xenophobia attacks, and then flew to Namibia to pick up a Land Cruiser, and I drove it to Livingstone in Zambia for a client of a friend's business. A few weeks later, I walked across the Kariba Dam into Zimbabwe. This was during the time between the initial and runoff elections, which was a very unstable time for the country. In Zimbabwe, I met with a friend. After a week of seeing the country's volatile situation and traveling to the capital, I returned to South Africa. These trips to Africa exposed to me the perils in this world and have greatly impacted the way I think. In mid-June 2008, after leaving South Africa, I flew to Dublin and met a friend. We traveled throughout Europe for 6 weeks, seeing 13 countries, and returned to Kentucky in August. After 2 weeks of working on heavy machinery, we flew to Mexico. We both are scuba divers, and we volunteered at a marine conservation project in the south of the country. I collected data on coral reef systems, which was used by Mexican organizations to understand the impacts of human activity in the area. After 6 weeks in Mexico, I returned home, but this time to Florida. After realizing that there was not enough work in Florida to support myself, I moved to Kentucky where I had work in metal fabrication. At the moment, this is what I continue to do while I am enrolled in internet courses. In August, I will be done with my Associate of Arts. I've learned many things, and my experiences overseas have determined the line of work I wish to pursue. I will be obtaining a bachelor's degree in international relations, but I have not decided which university I will transfer to yet. My plan is to work within the international community with efforts concerning humanitarian catastrophes or investigating war crimes, things that I can relate to personally and wish to prevent. I've told you a little about my life and my experiences that have determined what path I will pursue. I hope that you can use your personal experience as well to understand what goals you wish to achieve.